thinking of some of the last great big things that were on the horizon. In the 60s and 70s and into the 80s, right? The nemesis, the threat on the horizon was this grinding poverty, not necessarily linked at that point to climate, but grinding poverty that would destabilize countries and create seedbeds for what at that point was communism or other forms of insurgency that now we would see as terrorism. And essentially we faced a series of choices then. In addressing those problems, were we going to seek unilateral, militarized, authoritarian solutions, or were we going to seek open, democratic, multilateral solutions? And I think the story of the Cold War, certainly the last few decades of the Cold War, was that we consistently chose authoritarian and military solutions. And as I look at the climate situation now, once again, I mean, poverty is still with us. We can debate some of the statistics on trends in poverty over the last 30 or 40 years. But clearly that grinding poverty is there. Clearly that grinding poverty will be exacerbated by climate. And in terms of the solutions that you were mentioning and the clear need that we have to define those solutions, we are facing an epic choice. Are we going to support the kinds of governments in those developing countries who are most going to be able to keep a cap on resentment and close their borders and do all the other things that threaten global security or national security from the US perspective? Or are we going to seek multilateral solutions? And I think this gets very much back to the point that you were making, Elizabeth, about how international funding is going to address these impacts on the ground. Are we going to be able to, through the post-Kyoto process and through the Global Environment Facility and the Adaptation Fund, as the US, contribute to this much kind of a more multilateral approach, or are we going to fall back on our old pattern?